On behalf of Rich Armstrong and his sons and Pat's sons, Mark and Todd and Scott, welcome. You know, Pat could gather an audience under any circumstances. This is one of them. I'd also like to welcome my confreres, Father Joe Surgott, who's the pastor here at the Newman Center, Father Carl Schlichty, who was a former pastor here at the Newman Center, Father David O'Reek, who was a former pastor at the Newman Center, and Father Augustine Highlander, who was just ordained and hasn't had an opportunity to be pastor at the Newman Center. And this is really amazing. You should take a good look at us. 5 priests and not a single gray hair. Only because I shaved mine. Patricia Armstrong was a woman of few words. No, really. You don't believe me? Just listen to one of her poems, When One's Soul is Green. Before they came to see me from across the pond, and then some, they packed up my memories from the sands of a coast I once walked, from green gaps I had hiked. They stored my songs in their throats to unpack, tune after tune, no tin whistle or bowran, my tears for chorus. One brought me soil from her Wicklow garden, another, knowing smiles from pubs where tourists never go. And prayers from a wee church that once befriended my knees. Into a small, green, unbreakable jar, they let me breathe Irish air, enough to last my lifetime. See? A woman of few words. Her poetry is often spare, bare bones, mere verbal sketches, allusions, hints of memories you wish you had if you weren't so attached to a life of safe respectability. Her poems are scattered morsels of Pat. But if you had read all her words, but never met her, well, you know it's not the same. Words can be misunderstood, misinterpreted, or we can mistakenly skim along the surface and think we've completely immersed ourselves. If you'd read all her works and then met her for the first time, you would have said, "Ah, yes, yes, you're something like what I imagined, but in other ways, well, I just never could have known." And even when you knew her, words couldn't quite describe her as well as images. Her longtime friend, Bob Welch, created Mrs. H, an imaginary muse who was a thinly veiled Pat. Mrs. H was described as equal parts Maud, Mother Teresa, Emily Dickinson, and Rod Serling. This literary Mrs. H described herself at her introduction with Bob, and it might have well as been Pat herself. "Who am I?" she asked. "I'm the roar of a Mackenzie River rapid, the whistle of a Florence wind. I'm 14 country fair parking passes on the bumper of a '69 Volkswagen."